Hello, yeah. Gonna do a small stream making a few new talismans for Wonder, the double-sided deck builder. Hi, Makes Games. How's it going? I'm still very new to streaming on YouTube, so I'm sure I'll mess something up. I'm used to Twitch. I don't know why I've switched. I mean, I know why I've switched over. Twitch is not. I'm used to it, but it's not that good, really. You know? Okay, pauldrons. I need some form of I'll make some simple pauldrons first. Yeah, I want it to be like that big. Yeah. I'm making a linhthorax first. I think it's called a linhthorax. Yeah, linhthorax. Which is like a linen-based pauldron armor thing. And I think the most simple way to do this would be to delete this face and this face. Yeah. I think so. Let me know if sounds are a bit off, like my voice is too loud or something. I've recently changed my mic settings. Okay, that's roughly about there. Yeah. Probably going to want to round it out a little bit. It's good. Okay, sick. Awesome. Thanks. I'll quickly show a picture of what I'm making. It is, yeah, it's a linhthorax. It's going to be a talisman that I think it's a pretty simple one. Yeah, it's just gain 4 armor. I might make it 3 armor. We'll see. But today I'm aiming to, when you start the game at the minute and you start a new run, based on which deck you choose, you get an option for a starting gift. This will be like, I'm building up the first difficulty at the minute. Eventually I don't think you'll get a gift like in the later difficulties, but at the minute you go through a conversation with the ferryman and then you get offered a starting talisman. And for now, all of the decks get offered the same 2 talismans except for Rogue, which gets offered a straight edge, and which is like a ruler without measurements on it, and the Philosopher, I've just changed it so they get offered the quill. And yeah, eventually that'll be like, you'll get a talisman and then maybe a good consumable, but consumables are not in yet, so I'm gonna have to get those things in. But yeah, so that's the plan, is make a starting talisman for every single class. So the linhthorax is going to go to the Crusader because it's an armor based class. I think the Pilgrim's not going to get anything because eventually I reckon the Pilgrim's probably going to start with no starting gift because that's going to be like the hard mode deck. But I don't know entirely where I'm at on that yet. Yeah. And then the witch is going to get a cool thing that, because they start with mana. I don't know. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. For now, I'm just going to model this Linthorax. Which should be relatively relaxing, I think. Chill stream to get back into the rhythm of it. They're about that. They're about that thick, so I think I'm just going to leave that. Shade smooth. I think if I just... There we go. I extrude from edges. New face from edges? Is there no similar? Weird. Alright, I can just do the inset and then fix it up, I guess. I would have expected there'd be a proportional inset, because obviously this is going to be a bit off. Just these two edges just look a bit not the same width. Actually, all of them are pretty bad. It's these two that are pretty off. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Yeah. To be fair, this is going to be the exact same on both sides, so just to make it easier for myself, I'm going to put a mirror modifier on it. There. Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted. Doesn't have to be more complex than that. And then I think I want I guess it's like a brass clip. It's way more detailed than I should probably make it for this talisman. But yeah, it's a brass clip with like a little... I don't know. I might just make it studded, because that avoids me having to make that little rope thing. So if I literally just make a cylinder, it's about 8-sided. Yeah, that should do. What's going on there? Why did I do that? A bit of text there. There we go. Hey Holly, how's it going? Hello, what are you working on? So at the minute I'm going to be making a starting talisman for each and every deck, right? Because the Crusader can choose between, in fact, I'll skip intro so I can just go straight to the talisman. Or not? I guess not. I think I've recently made it so that it should just skip normally. But yeah, you get to choose between a talisman, fancy lighter. Oh, you're wondering what the model is. I guess it does look like a fancy lighter, doesn't it? No, it's a Linthorax. it's some armor. It's some simple ancient Greek Kevlar, which is basically what it is. They pretty much made Kevlar a long time ago. I think it's made with just like strips of linen, I think. I don't know. I don't know the mechanics of how it works. But it'll be a really, really simple one. Your game looks amazing, by the way. It looks very smooth. Thank you. That's very, very kind. That's very kind of you to say. I'm pretty happy with it. Like, it's been out for about a month now. It's early access, of course, but yeah, like, it's only sold like about 200 copies because I have not marketed it very well. To be honest, part of that is on purpose, but not in a. Obviously, I'd like it to sell more copies, but the idea is hopefully over early access. By the time I get it to 1.0, it can be a much stronger, easier game to sell. So I'm trying to get there slowly rather than, you know, overloading myself. Because I can imagine if the game sold like a few thousand copies in the first like week, I would be terrified right now. But I've been able to actually like have a fairly relaxed first month of working on it. But yeah, the talismans, I need to add lots more. is the general notion of today's stream. And I might, if I have time, because there's 2 main ones I want to add. If I have time, I might try and like make some of the older models better, because the newer models I've put a bit more time into. This does not look like a rock. It kind of looks like a rock, but it also just looks like a blue sphere. Whereas it could look a lot better. For the fighter? No, not for the fighter. This is for the Crusader, but each one's going to get their own choices. So this one will be for the Crusader. I'm pretty sure I've changed the Philosopher to the Quill. And so on and so forth. The Witch is the main one that rock is giving Pebble. Is it actually giving Pebble? Because that's still pretty good. And not just like papier-mâché clump. So these little brass things, they look very nice. I don't know if I'm going to make these ones look nice. No, because you're going to see it at this size. It would be a waste to make it look too good. What I will do though is I will add the little hoops. Wait, if I add the hoops though, then it'll be like obvious that it doesn't have the little string bit. Okay, instead of that, I will. Can I subdivide this? No. If I extrude it, will actually no. Bevel. There we go. That's what I want. Yeah. Nah. I'll just leave them as is. I'll leave them as is, because I can come back again. I can come back and make them better. That's always an option. That is pretty cool. I do like the mechanics of how these work. I think it's good if not many people play the early access. You can balance it and make it better with low stress. Yeah, exactly. Like, I can survive. I'm pretty frugal at the minute, so I could survive off like 300 to 400 copies a month. So as long as we can hit that, it should be pretty solid. It's giving papier-mâché now you've said it. It's too late to suggest this, but Crusaders makes me think of Holy Grails, I think. Armour is safe though, it still works. Yeah, like, there'll probably be some kind of Holy Grail-esque thing. There's a lot more to add to the game where, like, I'm reserving holy stuff a bit, because there will be, like, the Elysian Fields will get added, and there's going to be like some heaven-esque elements, like a blessings, like a set of blessings and a set of curses. But yeah, armor should be a pretty solid. It should just function, you know. But any of these could be replaced pretty easily, I think. Once something's decided on. Easy, you know? Because if it does get replaced, it's not like I'd have to lose this talisman. I'd probably just replace it with a more fitting talisman for the Crusader to start with. This is just going to be a really simple like common talisman. They don't have rarities in yet, but that will probably happen. That'll probably happen next, I think. Once I get to about 50 talismans and 50 coins, I'll add the rarities in properly. How do you do that again? Oh yes, Control A. Actually, I probably want it around there. Extrude along normals and then push it in a little bit. Ooh, spicy teas. No, I mean, I'm going to do a roadmap soon. Because I was thinking I want to like hold back a lot of stuff, but it's early access, so like I might have an idea of something that I want to add, and people are like, that's terrible. And it'd probably be a good idea to find that out sooner rather than later. But I think it'll be fine. It's in my head. All of the plans they're kind of good. I'm pretty happy with them. You know, I mean that obviously makes sense, or else I would just change that. But I feel relatively stable on the design plans. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. How is everyone then? How are you two doing? How come you're streaming on YouTube instead of Twitch now, by the way? Is it easy to cut out shorts or something? I guess it might be easy to cut out shorts, but no, the biggest reason is it automatically uploads it into YouTube and puts it in like a little slot where all of the lives are. I hear those do nauseatingly well. I think shorts are supposed to, but mine haven't. I've made a few and they have not done well. But I'm going to figure it out. I need to get into a habit of, from next month onwards, because this month I've been trying to relax a bit after working so much on Wonder for like 8 months. I think it was 8 months that I was doing it. Not super lot, but I was stressed for a lot of that, so even if I wasn't working a lot, I was like, what if the game sucks? And now I feel pretty safe that it doesn't suck. And like that, now I've just been able to relax. I finally felt like a normal human being. You know? Like, because I think the first 2 months of working on it, I still felt like I had enough in the bank that it was fine. And then from like mid-December, so the last 4.5 months up until launch, I was like, the game's gonna need longer than another month. And I was hoping it would be like a month-long project. And it started to become like, oh no, this is going to be a 2-year game, and I'm going to run out of money a year into it. That's scary. So I've just been like, I was just panic working. And then it came out and the feedback was so good that I was like, I was worrying about nothing. Like Jacob was right. Like Jacob's, because like most of my friends were like, yeah, it'll do really well. But Jacob was the only one that kind of played it and went like, yeah, no, it's good for this reason and this reason. I was like, okay, thank God. So now I feel like other people have said it and I'm like, Those are the same reasons Jacob said, so it is good for those reasons. And now I know that, I can hone in and focus on those, but also I can just like breathe again. You know? I think something like that. Yeah. Also, if you want to market it, I suggest making shorts. It takes me about 20 minutes to make one. You can make it about a lot of things in your game. Dude, that's huge. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm like, honestly, Edo, yeah, like, I need to figure out a style that I can do in 20 minutes, because for some reason I'm terrible at landing. Like, I make them in like DaVinci, and it takes me a bit of time. But like, I'll easily spend like an hour or two. I need to get into a habit of like taking something like this and just doing a time lapse and just saying small things over it. For sure. Thanks. Dude, that's huge. I'm glad you're unwinding a bit. Yeah, no, it's been very, very nice. I don't think I'm gonna end up getting a lot done this month, although the patch notes for the next update are like, they're pretty good. Like there's like a lot there. There's like a bunch of little quality of life stuff. There's a few buffs. Hope there'll be another few talismans. And then on another branch I've been working on consumables. So at the end of the month I should have a new system in the game. It'll just be like some potions and vials and stuff. And then from next month onwards I think they'll get a bit meatier, and I'll feel like a bit more able to, like, you know, get more stuff made. But yeah, I don't have a Steam page yet, and I don't have a lot of views, but I think it could work a little bit. Yeah, it definitely does. It takes 20 minutes to make one, but hours of thinking to get ideas, at least for me. Yeah, that's the struggle, isn't it? It's like coming up with ideas of what to even do. And then, yeah, once you put it together, because then there's also recording footage for me anyway. And I can end up just like spending ages. Just try it, like, because then like I'll get halfway through and then I'll be like, no, I don't really like this, and then I'll put it down. But I need to get better at it, for sure. There's a few game dev YouTubers that are they're just really good. They just know how to put one together really quickly, and I'm trying to figure out a style. But I'll get there. I'll get there. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think you're right. I think like making shorts that are about just what's happened in the game and what's changed, they can be really good. Okay. Click. Go into edit mode. I probably want to shade smooth and then start sharpening. The game looks great, Edo. I like the colour choices. Only I had to search your username. YouTube doesn't let you click on people like Twitch. Yeah, that does suck. That does suck. Oh, I'll totally check out your game as well, by the way, after this. For sure. And feel free to link it in the chat, just so I can find it easier later. Like, I know you don't have a Steam page up, but like, just link YouTube channel. I think links work in here. It is weird, but yeah, the reason I moved off Twitch is just because YouTube makes it a little easier, and because I did try to start a YouTube channel. I've got like, I don't know, like 80 or something followers. I can't remember, maybe less than that. 50 followers on Twitch, but I've got like 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So just by chance that someone rocks up because they're like, they see, oh, that's a YouTuber that I looked at ages ago. Went back 2 years ago when they made videos. It's like, it makes more sense to actually just stream to YouTube, where I have a presence, even though it's very small. Don't know, what am I doing? Whoa, I did not know you could do that. That's incredible. Mouse wheel just adds more increments. That, I'm going to keep that in the old noggin. Blender's good, you know? Blender is just good. People keep saying it. Keep saying it every year. They go, "Hey, Blender's good." This could just be thinner, I think. I think so. They are definitely very straight. They might be a little bit shorter at the top than at the bottom. Only a little bit though. Actually, I don't even know if they are. No, I think they are. Well, okay, these don't need to be. Now, let's see if I can do a blender. I never do a blender. Usually I just hard model everything. But you could, I'm pretty sure you could like do something like, how can I make a, I want to make a curve from that. Can you do that? Edge. Make curve? Maybe not. Mesh. I would imagine a curve from selection button definitely exists. I think that's a good point. I didn't realize you had 1K here. Yeah, it's like, it did really well because I made that one YouTube video that did well, and then I proceeded to get too scared to make more YouTube videos. But I'm going to make one soon. But I keep going back and forth, which I should probably talk about in the YouTube video. Because I've rewritten and written and rewritten and rewritten again, like probably 6 or 7 times, this one video for the last like 8 months. I don't know why, I'm just scared of it. I don't have the game published yet, but here is a link to my YouTube channel if you are interested. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll go through a few of the videos later and probably leave some comments. Just to help with the algorithm, because it does help. Any amount of interaction helps, doesn't it? You could definitely do a blender here. Yeah, I could, right? Like, I'm gonna Google it. I am gonna get like blender, because I know there's a blender thing in there. Blender make curve from edge. Apparently, Shift D. This is why it's considered a blender. Okay, so Shift D makes a thing. So Shift D, click, and then apparently Alt C converts it to a curve. Did I do it? I don't think I did. Alt C? Alt C. I don't think I did that. What is this then? This is an edge, but it's still attached to that mesh. Can I? Oh, I could. I know I can separate it. Boom! There we go. We've separated it. Now it's cube.009. So, convert to curve. There we go. That's how you do it. And then I'll move it back to where it was. Okay. And then I think if I do array, curve, and then if I select the curve object, I did not select the right curve object, curve cube 9, we're doing this, then I think I've got to rotate my initial object. This is what I mean by doing a blender. If you just Google a few things, and now we're cooking with gas. See, I didn't even, I barely had to try. Curve. I hate how much usually I'll just hand model stuff where I'm like, if I just did a blender, it could maybe go a lot faster. Some of them are going to be a bit weird, but then what I'll do is I'll take this And then I guess I'll scale that out. It's a little naff, but it works. You know, like, that's kind of what I was going for. And now I can, like, hide the weirdness. Yeah, like, it's this thing here, I don't like this. But the only way to really fix that is if I go in here and make that like that. And then that does fix it a little bit. Is there a way to play Echo Oracle Scroll on PC? There is, but I wouldn't do it like that. Like, you could play it in this in the Playdate simulator, but I would just not. I would not do that. At some point soon, I will be. Well, I mean, I can open it. So I'm making it for PC, but I'm dumb. So I started making it in Unity, and Unity is not good. I can't wait to get into Godot. But I'm remaking the game, so at some point, I'm hoping later on this year, put it on Steam, you know, and Switch, possibly. But that'll be on like a whole other kettle of fish, you know? See, like, if this was Godot, it would have loaded by now. Because Godot loads like near instantly. I'll try and load Godot at the same time. I'll load this one. Let's see which one loads first. Is it going to be Godot or is it going to be Unity? Oh! Oh, it's Godot, of course. Okay, it did load, but I genuinely think, yeah, I managed to load the actual game and open it, and this is compiling, you know, easily way before you open Echo. Now, where was I on Echo? Okay, I was adding some touches to the collector. There's still not a lot of it done. It's like, I don't know, most of Bottom Rock is finished. And I'm like, I think I got some of the power-ups working. Like VFX is in. An inventory is in, but you can't, there's no UI for it. Dialogue is in. So a lot of it's there. And this will come out on PC later on. So I would wait for that. When you make games with Edo, wait, you can make Playdate games in Unity? I thought it's only in Lua. No, that's why I'm dumb. So I'm remaking it all. I'm rewriting it all in C#. So it's a slow, laborious process. A lot of cool other actual smart Playdate devs have been porting their games to Love 2D, which is probably what I should have done. But I wanted like some really specific things. Like I wanted, and which I think I would have got those specific things anyway. Like I wanted this post-pro to act in a very specific way. So it's got like a CRT shader thing, but where each pixel is like got a texture that goes over the pixel. It's got a red pixel in the corner and a blue pixel in the other corner. And I think it looks pretty good. Like I've put it on Steam Deck and I've like had a run around and I'm like, looks exactly like what I was imagining. So I'm very happy with it, but the fact that I'm so far from done is a lot. You know? Unity and you? Oh, the port is looking so good. Oh, thanks, Holly. Wait, are you making multiple games at once? Yeah. He's mad, don't do what he does. We tease him all the time, we're starting too many projects. Yeah, like, I have managed to stop and slow down. Like, for the last 4 months, I've only been doing Wonder. But I'm probably, I don't know. There's like, I think there's 5 or 6 games that I have that I noodle with on a weekend. I let myself work on anything that I feel like working on. And then throughout the week, Monday to Friday, I have to work on the main project. It's mostly just because I'm not very good at working on just one thing. Clearly. But I have to be because, again, like, not bringing stuff out means that all of the money that I made from Echo has pretty much dwindled down to near zero. It's thankfully still selling enough, like 40 copies a month, so it makes probably a month of burn rate every 5 months, but then there's usually a sale, so then it'll tick up to, like, it'll make nearly a solid month in 1 month. So probably every 5 or 6 months it makes around 2 months of burn rate. But obviously that means that eventually you just hit zero money if you try to do that. So I can't do that. Thankfully now Wonder's out and people seem to dig it. And if it only has to sell a few hundred copies a month, and then like, you know, I should be stable. But we'll see. And then once I'm stable and like Wonder's out, then I should have 2 games selling copies, and then I can survive off that, maybe. I don't know. I used to use Unity. I think I would try Godot next time though. I would so strongly recommend Godot. It's so elegant and fun, and it's got a similar thing to working on the Playdate game, where it compiles so fast that you're not waiting around. So unless you want to make a huge game and you need Unity or Unreal, like Godot just lets you get in and start playing the game and like making a little change and start playing the game again within seconds, which is very, very, very good. I understand it's hard not to start more projects. It really is. It's very, very, very hard. Just because you get a little idea and you're like, that'll be fun. Wonder was supposed to be a very tiny game. It was a week-long game, and I convinced my partner Emily to make the coins. I was like, because this will be fun. This will be like our first little game that we're working on together. And she was like, okay, if it's only like a week. But yeah, let's do it. And then a week turned into 2 weeks. And then that turned into a month. And then Emily was like, I have a full-time job, I can't. So it is mostly me working on it at the minute. But that week-long project we're on our 8th month now. So, yeah. Well, you're getting really good at reeling off the numbers off the top of your head. You sound like you know what you're talking about. What, the numbers of like games and copies that need to be sold and stuff? I hope you will not go bankrupt. I also hope this. I don't think there's any real risk. I think I'm like 3 months away, or maybe 4 months. But again, my partner's got a full-time job, so she's very, very kind, and she said that if it gets really dire, like at the minute, she's let me forego rent for a little bit, so that, you know, like hopefully I can just pay it all back when the game makes a decent amount. And if it doesn't make a decent game amount, then I just have to get a job or get contract work, and then I'll just pay it all back in bulk then. Godot looks amazing, but sadly I'm too dependent on Unity to switch. That's how I feel. Like my plan at the minute is I'm going to carry on working in Unity, even though I hate what they've done and all of the decisions they're making. And it's probably going to be the next 3 or 4 games are still going to be in Unity. But I'm going to start building. So I've started making a tiny JRPG, and I want to get that out by like next summer. And it's going to be very small, like an hour or 2 of gameplay that uses like, you know, repeatable structures, really simple like PlayStation 1 style models, and that's just to build out a full game and get to the end of the compilation process and the publishing process. So I know what it all is in Godot, and then and then like slowly just move over the games. And so now what I'm doing is I'm just not starting any new projects in Unity. I've still got like 6 or 7 games to finish in Unity from starting over the years, but I'm not starting any new games in Unity. Like Wonder is the last new game that I'll ever start in Unity, unless they changed their entire business structure. Yeah, I plan finishing my current game in a few months. I am making it for 8 months already, and it's still very close to being finished. I hear you. I hear you. Hour or 20 in a few months, you will see. Wait, hour or 20 in a few months, you'll see? I don't know if I understand that. Do you mean just in, oh, when it's going to be finished? It does seem like it's so hard to actually finish a game, you know? It always seems like it's way sooner than it actually is. Per curve, relative space, relative instances, align rotation. So I do want to align rotation, but like I feel like it's aligning the rotation a little too much. Although I like that you can add some like randomization in there. That's cool. So I can just chuck that in and it'll make it feel a little nicer. You know? You know what? I think that's fine, and then I can apply this. Yeah, apply. Then I can merge these two, Control J. Then I can add a mirror modifier there. Then I can also grab these two. Well, actually, before I do any of this stuff, what I think I'm gonna do is, okay, yeah, go forward until that array modifier is, okay, it's still there. Okay, we got this. PlayStation 1 graphics in Godot sounds challenging, but it's probably come a long way. No, it's not genuinely. Like, it's gotten, if I'll open it again. Like, it's not too challenging anyway. Like, because this is what I'm talking about when I say PlayStation X style stuff. If how do I open the game? Is this opening? That doesn't look like the latest. Is it the latest? It might be latest. Let me test the battle to see. Yeah, it is. It is the latest. Okay, but yeah, like, this is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, it's low, it's very low resolution. Quick, do it. Damn it. Dead! I got him. Oh, I got killed. Okay. But like, it's got like the whole structure for the game is in. If I can start a new game, can I? I guess I'll just have to test Overworld. But it's got like the camera in, and then you can rotate and explore. This feels like a PlayStation X. And then you can go in, and then you've got a level. So I've got the 3 different states, right? So they're all just nodes, but like, you've got the overworld, which can get swapped in and loaded out. Then you've got a level, and when you're in a level, I've got like a interaction manager. So I think this puts something, yeah, this in the console, it'll say I am an interaction whenever I click this thing, because that is an interaction. This is an NPC, so if I click this, it's like a hello conversation, it says in the corner. I don't know if you can see that. Like, I am an interaction, then that one says hello. And I'll build out a little dialogue manager. And then this, if I interact with this, it'll start a battle. And then the only thing I'm changing from it being like Final Fantasy 9 or something, which is what I'm basing it on, is when you attack, all of your attacks will be like their own skill thing. So you'll have to like aim a crosshair, or you'll have to like, at the minute when you attack, you just stand there. If I just don't do anything, it puts you there, and you'll have like a little cooldown, and you'll have an amount of time to like mash the keys. And if you mash, then you can do an attack. So it'll be like you'll get a heavy attack and a light attack, and then I died. That sucked. But then there's like a level transition there, and then it puts me on the other side of the town. So you can imagine here there'd be like a town mesh, and then you just go and explore. And it'll do that like JRPG, like bum 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 bum, and you'll explore. Literally music like this will be playing in the overworld. But yeah, it's genuinely Godot. It's come a long way, and I think it was already a few years back was able to do stuff like this pretty easily. 8 months is a good commitment already. Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is, Edo. Like it's hard to stay. Even just staying on the same project for a long time becomes very, very difficult. So kudos for sure. I think the slight wonk makes the weirdness on the flappy bits look natural. They good. Sorry that I think I'm really behind in chat. Yeah, like they're getting there. They're getting there. Do you need a bit of rope to attach the shoulder pads before you mirror? I probably do, but I'd really like to avoid putting the rope bit on. But I'm probably going to have to do it, aren't I? Oh yeah, that looks like already there. Ha, cute. Wrecked by green cuboid. I like the pixelization. Yeah, it's like there's some post-pro stuff going on, but a lot of it is helped just by it being in the PlayStation res, like 640 by 320, I think. Something like that. That looks great already. Yeah, what Edu said. I also like the pixel bit. Love it. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really excited to work on it. It's mostly just to learn Godot though, so I'm not pushing myself game design wise. I've got a small story worked out. I know the kind of what the world map's going to be, and I just put like to be honest, I haven't worked on it since Christmas. But the plan is to just put like a few hours on a weekend into it every now and again. And then if one of the projects does well, eventually I could move out of... Yeah, I could just move out of uni. Get gone, you know? I think something like that. Yeah, that'll do. But yeah, I think the first thing that I need, the main thing that I need to do now to get this finished up is UV the different parts before I might start mirroring. And then what I might do is I might make a really simple version of it now. I'm gonna make some dinner, pasta at a Timeless Classic. Be back later. Keep up the good work. Oh, thank you. I hope you enjoy pasta. Pasta is a Timeless Classic. You are completely correct. Why is it looking weird? Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think I can just project from view. Project from view, and then so let me look at the. Okay. I don't want to focus on this too much, but it's going to be the similar kind of linen thing where I guess I'll put it up here, and depending on which, okay, they're there, so I'll want to rotate fully, yeah, and then I can just stick that in the corner. Then I'll do this part. It's pretty much the same. I don't think I'll be UV in the same way. I might have to. Oh, to be honest, I'm probably gonna have to. 1 second. I gotta finish this properly. Alt B, yeah, it's Alt B. Alt B, Alt B, Alt B. Yeah. How do I do that? Oh, it's, yeah, it's shift. Oh, of course, of course. Let's see. And then merge to first. And then, yeah, make that. There we go. That's a mesh. I did a model. I had a bread with egg spread and some tomatoes. Oh, nice. I made, so usually I just have a sandwich. But today I made a vegetable pie with some, I mean, I used store-bought puff pastry from Co-op, but yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, that looks a bit better. I think I might. I can do this at the end, to be honest, so I don't need to worry about it now. But I'll probably rotate this out from here. No, not the origin. Like that. And then yeah, that already, just that makes it look a lot more human, or just normal. And one of the things I've just realised, so I'm glad, is like this is model. This isn't modelled, but this is actually made nicely, so it's more form fitting than this. I've clearly just made a single box, so two things need to get done. I guess I don't need to do that. That needs to get lowered for the actual armhole. Yeah. And another thing I've just realised again is that this is the exact same on the back as it is the front. So I can just get rid of all of these faces. And don't know why these... Oh, I guess that's just weird faces. I wonder why that's done that. Dissolve the edges. Yeah, I don't need to worry too much about that. Yeah, that looks about right. Definitely screwed up some of the modeling a little bit. Dissolve. vertices? No, dissolve. Well, edge. Get rid of the edge. We don't need that edge. Ah, damn it! I've just realised. I mean, I'll just do it and then fix it. So, these all need to have a. But yeah, like this needs to now connect up. Get rid of the faces there. Get rid of the faces there, and then merge at last. Merge at last, merge at last, merge at last, merge at last, merge at last. God damn it, it's shift. Shift is what does it. I always screw up the selection hotkey. Yeah, and then I think I need to move this one up a bit for it to be similar. But yeah, that looks about right. I think I want to come in and shrink this down, shrink that one down. Actually, before doing that, I will also UV this as well. Extrude individual faces. Actually, I'm going to do it from the top down view. UV, project from view, and then I'll place it at the end. Yeah. Done and dusted. Okay, and then yeah, one of the big last changes is having to basically pull all of these in a little bit. And then that also means this curve This also needs to get pulled in a little bit. And then I should UV this. What's the best way to do this? It'll probably be just to simplify it, projecting from view and then just selecting the middle. Oh wait, I knew I forgot something. Yeah, as much as I want to like not do this, kind of gotta. Even if I don't end up using it for anything else. Yeah. I mean, I could do. I'm not doing the seams. I wasn't here for a while. Did I miss anything? Not really. Just overall polish stuff. That's pretty much it. I'm getting very close. I'm going to UV it, and then I'm going to attach everything together, and then we should be good. Which I've spent way too long on this one model. I was supposed to make like 4. I need to get back in the mode of like making something really fast so that I've got something to test and then just putting it in kind of thing. It's pretty close. Yeah. Yeah, they're all about right. Shouldn't rotate that yet because it'll be actually pretty close to just. Okay. Grab these, grab these, grab these, and then just separate. Is it P? No, it's not P. That pins it. Don't want to do that. I want to split. Oh, it's just completely different verbiage. That's the biggest thing in Blender, because the different features are made by different teams. You can very clearly tell that that's the case because they name similar functionality between two different modes, very different things. Yeah, and then I can just move those over here. Get rid of that, get rid of that. And then now we're on to this. I think it will similarly be a project from view situation. And then I want to go through and then try there we go. And I think yeah, that's correct. And then I can Control plus and unselect that and deselect all of them. Deselect all of these. Probably deselect all of these as well. And so make sure I select those. Select those, and then I think yeah, I'll select these. Why not? Yeah, and then I want to Alt M, split these, move that off. So all of this is the linen stuff. Yeah. And then all of this is like it's still linen, I think, but it's like a leather strap type thing. And then these tassels, they've already been done. Great. This has already been done. I probably now want to copy that across the different places. Probably want to Control join. Hell yeah. I want to also mirror on that axis. Yeah. Just to make that look a bit nicer, I wonder if I can... So that's the curve. If I copy that curve and then... Can't do it in UV edit. There we go, zoom view. So I've got a copy of the curve, and then I'm hoping I can rotate that curve. Yeah, can I control join curves? No, join? Oh my god, I can. But I do need to maintain. Let me rotate this. Okay, maybe I can rotate here. Can. Sick. Very cool. Okay, should be perfect-ish. Okay. Control J says it's... But I rotated it. It should be fine. Can I just collapse its boom? Don't do any of that. I don't want to duplicate. Shift S. No, it's not Shift S. Control A. Scale. All rotation and scale. That should do. Control J. That's so sad. Doesn't really seem like there's a way that I can. If I rotate these points now, Oh yeah, there's just no way for me to do it. Just because it's weird, I guess. Can I flip the normals on that part of the curve? Maybe? What do I have access to? Curve, tangents, maybe. Transform, mirror, Y local. There we go. Mirror, Z local. No. Mirror X local. Mirror X global. Mirror Y global. Z global. No. Mirror X global. That's just not liking anything that I'm doing. Curve, mirror, X local. Yeah, it's not gonna. It's not gonna do it. It starts to look like the actual thing. Yeah, it's getting very close. Very close. I think I'm just not even gonna bother. It would be nice to do this in a nice way, but I could also just get rid of that curve. And apply, I think, and then I think these are getting the similar things that are happening to them. So I think I could get rid of them. Alt B. Probably screwed something up by doing that. And then if I just Control J, yeah, they get added. And it's kind of close. Feels like it might be close enough anyway to say, okay, cool. Then I might also be able to go Control J. Yeah. We got it. We got a Linthorax. I think it's a bit. It's a little bit dissimilar to the one that they've done. That I say they've done. The ancient Greeks. I think it needs to be closer to like that, which means it needs to have this part moved over here. Control J. It's great that your game has no negative reviews as of right now. Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know how long that's gonna stay, but I think thankfully that one of the best things about the game, because I can show stats of like how the game's doing. I think. I don't know if I'll accidentally show stuff. I'll do a snipping tool of it. Let me see. Where's my bookmarks bar? Are these the stats? Yeah, these are the stats. I'll do a snipping tool, just so I don't accidentally show data that I shouldn't, because I don't know what I should and shouldn't show really. But I know that this is generally fine. But yeah, like these are the stats of the actual game. I can't zoom in more than that. That's stupid. That it just. Why can't I zoom in? But yeah, like, so we've got 28 refunds. And I think one of the best things about the game is that because I have such a short intro, because I'm going for a very like Balatro vibe. There's such a short intro into the actual game that it's like it's a £6. You buy it, you can play for half an hour, and you know what the entire game is going to be off of like the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like half an hour experience. So when people have said is that there a demo, because there was a demo, but it was quite out of date, so I took it down. But like the game itself can function as a pretty decent demo. So we're having like a pretty decent amount of people trying it out and then refunding it if it's not for them. And because of that, obviously you're going to get a lower, I think over time, you'll get a lower negative review amount, because the majority of people will play it and be like, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm just going to get my £5 back and then move on. And that's what I've been very much hoping about making this kind of arcade game. So yeah, I'm hoping that we don't get negative reviews. Of course, if you don't get a negative review for ages, there will eventually be someone who will just do it because they don't think any game. There are some people out there that don't think that any game shouldn't have a negative review. So there are some people that go out of their way to buy games that don't have negative reviews so that they can add one. Which, you know, that's a way of thinking. I don't think I agree, but I get it. I get where they're coming from. It's just a bit mean. That's why refunds exist. Yeah, exactly. Like I would personally like it if more. Unfortunately, Steam's algorithm is so review centric because people don't really read reviews, but that's kind of what reviews should be for. Is reading them, whereas most of the time it just turns into a number, which is a little upsetting sometimes. Okay, let's see, how far are we? You can't make a game that everyone will like. You can't. It's just impossible. And also, I think if you try to, you'll make a game that... You can make a game that a majority of people will like. But the more people that like your game, I think, the more chance that no one loves it. Because it's not really made for anybody at that point, if that makes sense. Like, it's made for a lot of people, so it can only ever really be like someone's 7 or 8 out of 10. Whereas if you make something that's quite niche, you can make it for an actual human being that exists. And yeah, I think you can end up with really creative, cool things. I reckon. I just know that like when I play Ubisoft games, I don't feel they're made for so many people that they don't feel like they're doing anything that makes me feel really, really good. But a lot of indie games do. Like they feel like, well, this is made for me. Oh, there we go. Fixed it. I think I think this is one whole object, isn't it? Yeah, sick. So we can now effectively try, and then we can still tweak it. But I can call this SM static mesh talisman. Yeah, talisman. Linthorax. Yeah. And then scale's fine, everything else is fine. The actual scale of it compared to other things is a little off, so I'll fix it a bit, I think. Increment, absolute grid snap. So yeah, to this. Oh, actually, I don't know if I can too much. I'll probably come in at the end. I'll probably come at the end. But yeah, you know what, I'll fix that once I've decided on if we're close. So, by parent, export to, is this going to export to the proper place? I want to export to this place now. export FBX unit. So then we can go back in here. We can get the actual talisman. I'm gonna have to make a lot of things for this. So first in talisman definitions, or I guess it is in talisman effects, in the talisman effect library. What are your favourite games? Probably Hollow Knight is likely up there. Obviously Silksong. I think I probably like Silksong more than Hollow Knight, the first one. The Zelda series, pre Breath of the Wild, for sure. I don't know. Let me load up my... Again, I don't know if I should show that on stream, but maybe it's fine. I really like... I mean, things that came out recently is stuff like Soul Sester. I really like Binding of Isaac. That's very, very good. What else? What would I say is like my favourite games? I try to play a bunch of stuff, but I do find that I play either like, I guess, Bethesda style adventures like Oblivion and Fallout, New Vegas and all that, and 3 and a little bit 4. Yeah, and then like it'll probably be like Hollow Knight, Diablo 2, is very, very up there, and like those styles of games. So like Metroidvanias and top-down adventures. Yeah, that's probably what I'd say. It's so hard because as many games that I play and I'm like, oh, this is a favourite game for sure. There's also like a type of genre where you can just play a lot of them. Like I definitely play a lot of games similar to Balatro and like Slay the Spire. I hadn't played them before making this game. I played about an hour and a half of Balatro, but then I got obsessed with Nubby's Number Factory and was like, I really want to make an incremental, like a number go up, like strategy game. Leaning more strategy, because a lot of them have come out that are doing chance-based stuff like Cloverpit, which is really good, but sometimes I don't feel like I'm in control of whether I'm doing well. It just feels like I'm doing well or I'm not doing well. And like I can make some choices, but then it's... I guess you are still in control. You're still building your build and your strategy, but it feels so chance-based that it doesn't feel like I'm controlling any individual action in it. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like controlling the whole slot machine. So like a part of making this game was like really wanting to still do chance-based stuff, but have a lot more discrete control over individual interactions. Hollow Knight is my favourite too. From Zelda, I played only Link to the Past. I also love Ori. Oh yeah, absolutely, Ori's great. I also love Expedition 33. Hell yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, that style of JRPG, I'm very, very into. And I'm really glad that like they're coming back, or like not necessarily coming back, but, you know, like it's become very, very evident to everyone that there's still a lot of meat in that design space to explore and like to figure out. Too many things I think get lost because they go, oh, it's like tactics games. They're like, tactics games are old. And in the last few years, we've had some really good tactics games, like from Into the Breach onwards, and then Mugenics coming out early this year, which like plays really, really well. Like very good game design all throughout it. And I think those kind of turn-based battles systems, they haven't been given a fair shake because Final Fantasy's moved all of them over to being like action-based, so like you're in control a lot more. Whereas, and like Pokemon, I guess, is doing that as well. But you can do a lot still in that space, and Expedition 33 proved that pretty well. But yeah, Hollow Knight for sure. I can't wait for Sea of Sorrow, the DLC they're doing for Silksong. Like as soon as it comes out, definitely gonna take a week off for it. It's gonna be great. Thorax. And Mina the Hollower is another game I can't wait for. It was my first game of this type. It was even more special for me. Oh, that's sick. I mean, it does a really good job of of that type of structure. Because if you do try and go back, like for me, I grew up playing like Final Fantasy 9, and that was like my favorite game for so long. But I've tried to replay it in recent years, and it does drag a bit. It does absolutely drag a bit. Linthorax is totally a word. I'm not making that up. Oh, okay, no, I am. It's Linothorax. Damn it. Damn it. Ryder was right. I can't spell. So it's not Linthorax. Linothorax. I think Linthorax sounds better. But who am I to question the Greeks? Would you say that? What would you say is your favourite game then? Okay. If I now make this Linothorax and set it, it's a common, even though the rarities aren't used yet. It will be a common. Validate. It's got a possible wrong prefab. It absolutely does. I'll control and replace this. Control that. I'll duplicate it. I mean, Linothorax. Then we go in, and then here it is. That's our Linothorax. I'm probably going to like rotate it a little bit to be off, and then I'll want to copy paste Linothorax. Okay, and now I get to do the fun part, which is try and make this material look good. It's going to be. I still got to move some stuff around on the UV, but I know we're going to have like color 1 will fade from like white to like brown, I think, and then color 2 will fade from like gold. I don't think there's anything else that I need to worry about too much. Just gold. Gold to less shiny gold, or gold to like a darker gold, I guess. Okay, so now we get to do the fun bit of going to Hollow Knight and Silksong. For me, I can't pick. That's fair. That is fair. That's cool though. Hey, same faves. Hell yeah. So okay, we'll go to the UV, and now it should be really simple, right? So we've got, yeah, so it should be, this is going to go up here, and we're going to probably scale it down quite a lot. This is the Lin part, so that's going to go there. To be fair, actually, I could make these much bigger. Think, and then yeah, because then this can go down here and be like orangey. No, actually, I think I do just like. I think I do want to just do this. Okay, I've got those colours completely wrong. So this is, yeah, because I've got to flip them. Copy, paste, and move that up to there. That's already close. And then I think I want to turn the noise scale. I'd turn it up. Yeah, this is going to be one of those things where I really do need... The scale is actually going to matter. I'm going to want that to be tiny. I guess I want this to have its own, a decent amount of space. Since it's a repeating, is it a repeating? I think yeah, it's a repeating material, so I don't need to. I can do that, but then put that up there. Do that, although I probably want to make it a similar size, and then move that down there. Yeah. I think that. Okay. Wait, that doesn't feel right at all. Damn. Okay, yeah, I can't do that. It is absolutely position based. And yeah, the scale is going to matter a fair amount. I mean, that's okay there. I will say neither of these should really be smooth, so I can drop the specular part of it. And I don't know if the noise, I don't know if I'm even going to use the noise. thought I had a way to make the... Okay, yeah, I can fade the noise opacity off. But that's still... Oh, there we go. I'm just going to need to flip. I'll just add some slight texture. I am going to need to flip these. So that's there. That's there. And that's pretty solid. It's not perfect, but it's pretty solid. Yeah. For now, anyway. And then I can go to Talisman. Or actually, I can just type in Linothorax. Linothorax. There we go. Validate. And it says that the Linothorax should be fine. Now, there's no script for the Linothorax, so I think if I try to play and load a battle, nothing will happen. It'll break. It'll break. So now I need to make a script. And thankfully what's cool is, or what should be cool, is the actual effect is basically the exact same as the Hidden Blade, except you gain armor instead. What's this? The fine plate. Yeah, that works, I think. Linothorax. Turn start plus 4 armor. Maybe I'll make it 3, and then if people think it's too weak, I can make it better later. Armor value. Actually, just armor gain. It's pretty more direct. Pretty more direct? A bit more direct. Gain 3. And then adjust armor. Boom. That should just work now. Let's see if it does indeed just work now. It does not. Okay, no, that shouldn't just work now. There's one more little step, I think. I need to come down here and say Linot. Don't know why that opened that. Linothorax. Linothorax. Okay. I really wish I could get rid of that step. I might see if there's something I can do. Because I reckon I could probably write this out as like a, you pass in the type, and then it can seek a class based off of a name. But at the minute, you need to like look for the type of, so it needs to be pretty direct, and it still doesn't work. What? Oh, right, of course. I need to update content. And there we go. Okay, there are bits of it that don't look good. Let's see what we can do. This bottom part, it's pretty obvious now to me, anyway. Yeah, just making it frilly will help a little bit, but also switch the gradient offset up a bit. And then, yeah, this should now be darker inside. Yeah, it should only really be affecting that. One. Maybe not make it too dark. Oh wait, it's gold now. Why is it gold? Oh, of course, because... Right. Maybe I'll make that there and that there. I really do need to come up with a better way of putting the materials on. Because I'm proper winging it at the minute. Yeah, that's not going to do. That is not going to work. Do I need to move this now like way up? I don't think so. I don't understand how my shader is working, but I don't think it's good. Because I think if it was good, then it would be good. And it just ain't. So I think what I was doing isn't really going to be a viable strat. How is this even... Hey Miso. Apologies for the cat screams. Miso has just woken up. I think that'll do. That'll probably do. Maybe that's too strong. I think I'll come up with a better way of modelling and texturing these things. But right now, that looks like a linothorax. And it gives me 3 armour at the start of every turn. Hell yeah. We got this. We got another talisman. And I can sell it and get tokens. I'll flip my coins. And so what this should be offered to the Crusader as a starting gift. I'll probably just make it this one here. At the minute I'm just offering the heavy shield because it's the worst talisman in the game. Yeah. At the minute, the majority of the talismans are like pretty cool. Hell yeah, it looks great. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, it's solid. It'll do. It'll definitely do for now. Some of the details get lost because like the current shading and texturing style that I'm doing is just bad. I'll make it better. I swear. Definitely think that needs to be a bit brassier. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that looks like brass. Yeah, it's pretty solid. Okay, now there is going to be, so when I do push this update, there's going to be a bit more work I'm going to have to do to add these talismans. I might see what will happen now. So there's going to be 29, yeah, of course, it's off the screen. So there's no scroll view in this at the minute, but I don't think I'm going to do scrolling. I think I'm going to do pages because I really like this layout. So I'll probably have 28 per page. I would recommend black outline and make it thicker on hover. Yeah, I do think that it could help a lot to add an outline for sure to the shader. I'll probably do that soon. Because I don't know exactly where I'm going to go with the talismans once I have time. I think all of this art, it suffices. I'm happy with how it looks. But I'm happy with how it looks in a very temporary way. Because my partner made the coins, so the actual like base model for the coins, they look a lot better. There's a lot more contrast. They read a lot better. And then I threw these together as fast as possible. So they do look that way. Like some of them, like Silver Lining is just a terrible mesh. It's a terrible model. The sword needs updating and making better. But like on the whole, like this texturing style is just a little too. It's charming, I think, but the game feels a bit more higher fidelity than this. Although I really like Dead Crow, and a lot of people love Dead Crow, so I don't know if I do change them, I'll probably keep Dead Crow in some fashion like this. I don't know, but some of the latest models that I've been making, like that Linthorax and this water wheel, this scabbard, and this compass, I put a bit more effort into the actual model, which makes it feel like I should probably put a bit more effort into the actual shader / texture. Maybe they all just get textured, you know, because they all use the exact same material at the minute, the exact same shader. So it works for some things like these fine plates, or like the collection plate and the fine plate. It works really well for the feathers, but it doesn't work for everything, you know. It makes some things just look very, very temporary. But we'll see. We'll see. Like once the game is like, once I've got like 100 talismans in the game, either the game will have done well enough that I can worry about it a bit less and maybe hire someone to like redo all of the talisman art, or I just afford to have the time to sit down for a month and get really into modeling and texturing talismans, and then do a big update where they're all like much nicer. That's the plan anyway. That is the plan. How do you handle rebaking canvases? My game has 5 milliseconds canvas refresh in player loop. I have multiple canvases. I don't know. I don't do anything specific at the minute. The only major things I do is, so I've got one canvas for the most part, and then I've got some world canvases, like some world what is it called? World space canvases. A few little ones. At the minute, I have a layout group. My mate taught me this, and then 2 flex things. And that basically what that means is I can play in like 4K or whatever in 16:9. It'll all look the same. But if I do like a huge resolution, like big widescreen, everything kind of stays in the middle. It stays like 16:9 in the middle, and then like obviously the art will just like fall out of the edges, and that does make it look like very cool, I think. And for the most part, most resolutions work. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I haven't played the game in a while at different resolutions. I think it works. Yeah, it seems to work. Some of the art things might look a bit weird. I will take a Linthorax. Hell yeah. Deck view, everything. But then the flex modifiers don't contribute to this, but it also means that I've got some stuff built in so that if I go to a 4x3, if I go 4x3, it still works, which is took me like a day or two to get working properly. Where like the talisman bar gets moved into the side, and then the camera gets pulled out a bit, and so it works in almost all resolutions. It doesn't work in like 1x1. Like the closer you get to like 2x3 or 1x1. So if anyone's got like a CRT monitor, I feel terrible because it won't work very well. But it should work in like, where's Steam Deck? That's Steam Deck. I've definitely got a few little problems with the Steam Deck res, but it should be fine. But for the actual like refresh, I don't know. I haven't done as much performance checking as I should, really. I mean, I performance check when it doesn't work, and I try it out on the Steam Deck, and I haven't noticed any kind of performance problems. And the Steam Deck is like probably the minimum platform that I'll target up until 1.0, and then around just before launching 1.0, I'll probably take like 2 weeks to investigate just how low performance, like what's the lowest spec I can run the game on comfortably, and I'll probably base that on my laptop. I've got an old PC I'll probably play it on. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I handle rebaking the canvas. I don't do anything custom, I'll say that. I did have a nice software mouse cursor, but it was causing problems. So now it's just the hardware. I think it's hardware that was still doing problems. I tried to make my game stretch good on multiple resolutions, but I gave another black pillars to the side of the screen. Yeah, like for a few games, I would just recommend doing that. I think the only reason that for this I'm trying to be as like lenient as possible is that the game's really, really simple. Like I've put like a lot of work into it for sure, and I've spent a lot of time on it, but the actual game, like I'm still in sample seed. I haven't made a new seed yet. I think I made one for marketing, like to record some things, but it's just the sample seed that you started Unity with. And then everything is kind of contained in this mesh, and then I've got like the UI obviously, but like there's this big kind of like unlit mesh, and then it's got a shader on it to do this like swirly thing, and then I've got like some effects and cool things going on, but it's very much, you start a new run, these pop in, and when you close, I never reload the seed, which is definitely bad. I hate that. But like this just stays there. The deck that you choose stays there. I'm gonna soon make it appear on the screen, because I think that would feel a lot nicer, especially since there's a discard plate. But like it's all very much just happening here, so I don't do a lot, really. I have just changed on a different branch. I've changed how the talismans work, because annoyingly, the talismans are really tiny and they're parented to the camera, and so I guess that's a canvas probably. I think it's a world canvas for that bit, world space canvas. But yeah, my game is a platformer. Maybe I will try to support it multiple aspect ratios, but I will not do free aspect. Yeah, free aspect is. I don't like free aspect. It can kind of work. Whenever you're in an aspect mode, everything kind of feels weird and off. Like none of the UI updates properly. I don't know how to get it to do that. There's probably a way to do it, but it always looks a bit weird. And also, I just have no control. Free aspect, I don't know what I'm doing. Whereas when you actually go, okay, what is a display? Like some of my mates will have monitors that are certain sizes, and I'm like, okay, what is the size of your monitor? And then they tell me, and then I can type that in, I can set a resolution for it, and then I can see what the game looks like in that mode. So at the minute, nothing really happens outside of the bars. I might have some like cool special effects and stuff happening, comes some cool VFX. Probably. That's the idea anyway. But yeah, I think that'll be a job for maybe tomorrow. I'd like to get this update out for Friday, but in that case I really do need the Linothorax. Or I need new talismans that I had. I need to make sure this isn't going off screen, you know? So I'll probably do that at some point. Yeah. If I can get... That shouldn't be too hard to fix either. Like, I'm already showing like 28 talismans. In fact, I want to see how complicated will it be collection view. So we're doing a list of all valid talismans. We don't position them here. There'll be like a get position, right? Yeah, I've got like a private returns a vector 3. So you hand in an index. So when I show items, I'm betting at the minute in talismans I go through all talismans. Whereas I don't really want to do that. I probably want to say int page index equals 0. And then I'm going to say page index multiplied by 28. And then this is going to be page index minus 1, I think. Page index minus 1. It is useless, that is right, but it's... I've done it... Where else have I done it where you have page views? I've done it in the win, in the win screen. Game over. Win and game over screen. Coin display. No. Why is it? It's not collection display. Win display. I don't know what it is, but I know I've done this code. Game over coin display. Oh, it's literally called the game over deck display. So there's coins in page, which I've got it set to coins per row times 3, so 30. Then I've got a current coin page index, and then update coins. I've got the min and the max, and the min is current page index multiplied. Yeah, so this is relatively straightforward. I'll just put these in here. Min there, and then max. Okay, and then int coins in page equals 28, and then just 0. Yeah, but it's okay. Yeah, that's useless at the minute, but it's not that useless, you know. I got ultra wide monitor for Christmas. It was so wonderful. I replayed Silksong because of it. I will probably support that. Oh damn! Yeah, that's definitely worth doing. I want to get one at some point. God, I'd love to. Yeah, you actually brought up a really good point, because I know Silksong support it and it does a really good job, doesn't it? I really want to replay Silksong. I was literally thinking about that today. I can't wait for the Sea of Sorrow update. But like, I think it's already been what, 6-7 months since it came out? 8 months? Oh my god, time really flies. No, it can't have been 8 months, because that's how long I've been working on the game. Like 7 months, I think. But yeah, that should be... Actually, I've already done the UI, haven't I? I wonder if this would be very easy for me to do. It was 3 times prettier because of that. You can see so much more with it. Oh my god, don't, because I've got an okay monitor. I've got an alright monitor. I don't need to get an ultra wide. Not anytime soon, anyway. I know I've already done this. I'm sure I've already done this. So in the game over display, coin page selector, so it's this right here, right? So if I just grab this, I'm hopeful that I can just set it up to be very much the same. Coin page slots, yeah. Okay, so close that down and then go to main menu, collection menu, then there's the UI header. Yeah, okay, so into the main menu, in this collection menu, if I just put this UI coin page collector in, I think. Okay, yeah, it can't go in the header, but that is the exact UI. So, sick. I just need it to be underneath the UI header. Could I just set the alpha there? Zero out the... Oh, alright. There we go. Just put it underneath easily. I am fascinated by the development tools you have in bottom right. Which ones? These wonder tools. I'm very keen on, especially with a game like this where it's a roguelite, so like there's so many different possible variations. It's become very evident to me that I need to be able to like test anything. So I've got like, if I click play game, it will disable any debug thing throughout the entire project. And then if you press play with debug, it will work based on, if I'm in skip disabled, it will load up the main menu because it doesn't skip anything. Skip menu will go straight into a game and it will load with all of these properties that I've set. So like I can test the deck, like I can test the philosopher deck, and then you can test a specific coin, or I can test all coins with multiple copies. So if I click that, I'll be on like, I'm a philosopher at the minute and I've got 2 of every coin, basically. Yeah, and like you can test the map as well. If I just have no event in the test slot, I'll skip intro as well. Then it loads a normal map. But if I want to test a specific event type, I can do that pretty fast. You can test enemy conditions really fast. So if I'm testing like a battle or the shop, I can skip the map and just load straight into, you know, the shop, so that I don't have to actually. It just makes it so that when you're actually trying to test, you know, is the upgrade pack opening correctly, you can just. Oh yeah, I've got no tokens. So I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I need tokens. I can just set start tokens to 999, and then I can do that in a minute, and it works. Yeah. I need to make something like that too. I currently always go to main menu C and press play, select level. It wastes so much time. It really does. Because it adds up, doesn't it? Like at first you're like, oh well, I'll just do it for this one thing. I'll just test this one thing to get it right. But it makes everything so much faster. So now if I do something like 3 times, and it takes over 4 seconds to do it, I will be like, okay, that's got to be a button. That's got to be a thing. Because if I need to test something, it just gets so hard. It's like testing, like I need to test like the 4th river, I can just jump straight to the Fourth River in the shop. So I can test the shops in the Fourth River super fast. And then I've got like a way to like give myself any amount of talismans, up to 5 because that's the max. Although that I'm going to add a talisman soon that lets you add more. Yeah, I don't know if there's much else really. I sometimes use this. I made an object palette so that if I'm ever like selecting something, I can click a button to add it to the palette, and then as soon as I'm off it anywhere, I can like select it, and then it will grab it in the editor. If it's like a scriptable object, it will just like select it. And that makes things fast. If you keep going back to the exact same file, and it's like buried in like the folders. I don't know if there's much else. There's a button to open the save data folder, which makes it nice and fast to get. There's the debug settings themselves, which is just a scriptable object that's got everything on it. And then I have on the application manager, I have a Wonder Debug Manager that just has the scriptable object in it. And then it's got all of these things. Super simple. Like I've got use debug, and that's if we're in edit mode. So what the thing that's good about this is if I ever make a build, it will just check in all the code, are you in editor? And because it says no, it's like, okay, we can't do anything to do with debug, because I've had it in the past where I've had a debug settings and accidentally shipped with some of those settings enabled. So that's just like, it's permanently disabled now. So it'll check use debug, and then it'll check into the settings for a certain thing. Yeah, and then like anywhere in the code, I can just say if when we're generating a river, if we should generate the debug map, then we do that. We generate the test map, and that's like based on some of those properties. So it'll get the test event type and all that. But yeah, this is amazing. Also, sorry if I'm disrupting your productivity, but I'm curious. No. Oh, please ask any questions about the project. I'm an open book on it for sure. But whenever I start a project now, usually I just copy paste the previous one and then rename it. Like in Echo, I've got like Echo tools. I'll just start it, because as soon as you start it, it's like a half a day maybe, or a day to like learn. Like you Google like how do you make an editor window in Unity, and then you go through it all. And it's a bit annoying because the code's slightly different. Like you have to have a init and a init class, or an init function, and I don't fully understand what it's doing. But then you have to have a get window and then show the window, and then you have put everything in on GUI. And then once you start this, you just start adding to it more and more, you know. And then before you know it, you've got all of these great tools that like help out. But it starts with you having one button that just affects the timescale, so that when I'm playing the game, I can just change the timescale to like different things. And it's like, that's a really fast and simple thing to add, that once you've added it, you go, oh, okay, I want another button now. I want a button that does, you know, that gives me a bunch of these things. But what if you want to debug in build? I almost never play test in editor. Well, the way that most people do that, see, I'm very big into testing in editor just because it's so fast, or it's the fastest way to, like, you know, test stuff. But the way people usually tend to do that is they make something with imGUI. Like imGUI is a really good debug. Or it's not really debug, it's just instant mode GUI, like an instant mode graphical user interface. So usually they'll put that in the project, and then they'll just add all of their buttons to that. I haven't done that too much, but I've worked on loads of projects in companies where they use imGUI. Like I'm pretty sure it's just like you type in imGUI. Yeah, like they've literally got their own built-in one, but I'm pretty sure imGUI is like a... Is it called imGUI? Oh, Dear imGUI. So a lot of people use... I tried once to make custom Unity tool. I ended up making player prefs reset. Yeah, like, I mean, it works. It totally works. Like, I've done that before. I've like used the player prefs to just store all of the debug settings. Best way to do it, in my view, is like a scriptable object. If you're doing it in editor, and if you're not, then I don't know, maybe making like it has to check for a debug mode or like a debug thing, but then just making some save data that stores your debug settings. But you can start with like an immediate mode GUI where it just displays stuff, but then a lot of people move on to using DRM GUI, like and it looks like anyway from Googling that someone's made it for Uni, and that's a much nicer implementation of like an immediate mode GUI. I've used that one before on a live project, but that's what I would recommend anyway. Like if you do test exclusively in builds, you just basically make it like it's part of your game, right? Probably use like an immediate mode GUI because it's faster to like get buttons and stuff working in sliders, but you're just building it out as like a series of buttons that will pop up when you type in a specific, like you click a certain button, and then you can just, yeah, then it's just settings. It's just making more game stuff. I would make a build profile version of initial scene that additionally loads scenes with debug tools. Yeah, absolutely. And then once you've got it, the reason it's good to invest in is because once you've got it, you will start adding more and more buttons, and then it just, the iteration speed is crazy. It's crazy. Even for the Playdate game. What was the thing I was using? LDTK. So even for the Playdate game, which is all in Lua, so it doesn't really have debug tools in that kind of way, I designed the map and like the levels and stuff in a thing called Level Development Toolkit, LDTK, and the first thing I did was set up this debug spawn. And all this is, by the way, if you haven't seen this, is it lets you paint tiles and then like auto does the art for it. So you just have like a few different tile maps, and then it lets you put down entities which aren't actually real things. They're more like they're just squares with data on them. So if I make this, it's literally just a square that says spike. This is a spike, and then you can set any amount of data on an entity. So the spikes have got a direction. So I can set north, south, east, west, and that just sets them to a certain facing direction. But the first thing, that I did was making this debug spawn that has all of the same kinds of things, right? Like you can set it to invincible, you can set it to, and this is closer to what you would do, where you just build things that let you skip stuff. So when you load the game, if that debug spawn isn't present, then it just starts you from level 1. If it is, it skips the menu and like puts you in this level like straight away. And then with any of these settings that you've got, it's very useful to do. I don't think I'll ever like not add quite a lot of debug tools to every project. Yeah, I hope that satisfied your curiosity. Let me know if there's anything else that you want me to say. I'm happy to do so. Okay, let's see. So those buttons are not where I wanted them to be. Why are they not where I wanted them to be? So it's in the main menu. Oh, I better know why. Do I need to? Yeah, okay, revert that. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's pretty much where I want them to be. There's no bugs now, which is good, but these buttons aren't going to do a single thing. It's weird that that's not facing the right direction anymore. So, since I've already done this, I'm just going to close all the scripts. I think I'll try and see if I can get it done in 10 minutes. And if I can't get it done in 10 minutes, I'm going to come off for the night. Because I did tell Emily that I'd watch a show tonight. So I don't want to stay on too long. Plus I need dinner. Like I had a lot of the pie for lunch. Not a lot of the pie, like a quarter of the pie for lunch. And I'll probably just have another quarter for dinner. So yeah, we want to do the game. Win the game over deck display, and I want to open up the collection display. Right. Okay. I think this coins in page is going to be just a constant property of items per page. Const. Yeah. I could probably make these. I mean, I will. At some point, I'll move those up there as well, but for now, it's fine. For now, it's fine. But yeah, what's good is once I get it working with talismans, it's going to be working with the coins anyway. Okay, so the buttons, set coin page, I totally want that as a I'll just put it here, and it will be set item page, new page index, get max coin page index. How do I get the max coin page index? Sick. I'll probably refresh them afterwards. But for now, I'll probably just say this is... I'll get rid of that and I'll just make it 2. And it'll be item. Dun, dun, dun. Oh yeah, of course I need that. So public int, it's just going to be 0 to start. It's going to be current item page index. And then we'll update the coins. Yeah, and then I guess this would have to be like an update. We'll trigger hide items and then yeah, this might be more than a 10-minute job because 4 minutes have already passed. Where is it? UI collection menu. Sick. So we just drop that in there, and then we need a set. We need to do set page. Yeah, set item page. Set item page is a function, so it's not showing up. Where is this collection menu? Your collection menu. Yeah, it's totally not showing up. Oh. How is your game structured with scenes? I have always active where are things like audio manager, etc. Then I have main menu scene, in-level active scene, whereas player GUI, and some other things. I also have scenes for all the levels. So, to be honest, it would probably be better to talk about Echo. So I'm pretty bad in that Wonder is just sample scene. Wonder is just the first scene that you get when you start a new project in Unity, and then at the minute I don't really have to do anything. I manually unload everything. This is where it is a problem, and you should use different scenes, because you can easily unload a scene and reload it, and then it's set back to factory, you know, settings or whatever. But when you end a run or like exit the game and stuff, or like, well, go back to the main menu, I just manually unload everything and reset everything. So sometimes I get bugs from doing that because you just forget to reset something. At the minute I like it because it means that I'm not really creating and destroying a lot of stuff. So the game runs pretty well, I think. But also there's still a lot of instantiating and destroying going on. Not as much as like these coin proxies that fly past the screen. These are all from an object pool, and I'm going to slowly move more and more stuff over to be using an object pool. Because I've got like a nice little object pool set up, but I'm not using it as much as I should be. Yeah, like I don't really use anything. For previous games, I've made a huge amount of use of like, yeah, like I've got an audio manager, and I've got like a VFX manager, so that I can just, but those don't really do much. Like, I mean, they just instantiate stuff where I want it to be. Like I tell it to like make something somewhere. I've got a bunch of managers though. I've got like a game manager that, you know, handles the game, but it only really handles the structure of the game, like clearing data, going back to the menu, starting a new game, pausing the game. There's an application manager which manages the start of the overall program, so that like that lets me load data, or like in on awake I can make some setup functions so that nothing ever happens out of order. And it also checks for like, it's got a thing built in, well, not built in, I built in a very simple way for any game object to say, I'm going to block input now whilst I do this thing, like if it does a coroutine. So it'll do a routine, or it'll wait a few seconds, and then it'll say, okay, I'm going to remove myself from the input blockers, and now the player can interact again. And that cut out like all the little bugs of like being able to press a button when you shouldn't be, and all of those things. There's a progression, run, and unlock manager which handles like everything when it gets the data loaded from the save load manager. Yeah, it holds all your stats, all the unlocked items, and then the run manager handles the current run. So when you're actually in a game, it like has all of the stats there. Yeah, the VFX manager, like I said, it just does the VFX things. Camera manager, this lets me set up like different positions and rotations, and then I have just the camera object like tween between those things. Yeah. I don't have a game manager. Instead, I have 10 managers with 20 lines of code each. Yeah, like I think I think for a lot of the time that's a better way to do it. I only really use, so I try and treat managers very much like they should take care of everything that they're named after. A game manager is so generic that it's hard to know what it should and shouldn't do. So like I have it handle game state, which is just an enum that tells me if I'm in the main menu, if I'm playing the game, or if it's paused. That's it. It doesn't handle anything more specific than that. So if you're playing, you're in a run, and you can query that game state and do different things based on it. Yeah, like handles pausing and unpausing. Like that's a very game manager type thing to do. And then just starting a run. Like all of the stuff that isn't the actual game goes into the game manager, which is ironic, I know. This is what I mean about the clear game thing. Like if this doesn't handle something, which I'm pretty confident it doesn't handle everything. Like if you leave the game from a shop, I'm pretty sure there could be a problem. Maybe. But I don't know if you can leave the game from a shop at the minute. I think you have to leave from the back. But yeah, that's kind of it, really. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else massively. It'll definitely be. I'll probably when I jump back on making Echo the Oracle Scroll DX, like the deluxe version for Steam, I'll probably stream a bunch of that, and that'll have a bit more, I think, of like a scene. Depending on how I'm building it, I think it loads all the levels into the scene because it pulls them from LDTK. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, but I hope, because that is a platformer, like an exploration platformer type thing, so that'll be a bit closer to your project. Whereas this is a bit, it's an arcade game, you know. Like I'm trying to put a lot of effort into it, but it's really weird because at the same time, it's hard to like forget the fact that it is just an arcade game. That it's a number go up, straightforward, simple, you know what I mean. So it always feels like the game's both smaller and bigger than I think it is. I know that sounds oxymoronic and stupid. But anyway, I'm waffling now. I don't think I'll be able to get the multi-page view sorted. I did get it to not show the Linthorax, so it is only showing the 28 now. And I've got the basic UI in for these little things. They don't work yet. But it will be like you'll click these buttons and it will go left and right a page, and when you click on the coins or the talismans, it will repopulate these with the amount of buttons that is needed, and then you just be able to jump between the different pages, and that'll work for now. That'll be good. I think that'll probably take like an hour to get working. The next models, I'm probably just gonna have to say maybe they need to be a bit simpler than the Linthorax. But the Linthorax works for now. It can get added to the set, and I will jump on to the next one. Yeah, and then hopefully get them all sorted. I think I've only got to make 3. Yeah, I can get that done for Friday. I think I'm at Gamio tomorrow, expo in the game. A small event, but I think I should be able to get it done by end of day Friday, and if not, I'll get everything wrapped up because I'm definitely going to put out a small update this week just because there's a few little fixes. I've added a retry option now, I've added a way to skip the intro, and there's enough there that it's like, yeah. And then next week I can focus entirely on getting the consumables made, and then maybe a few extra talismans. And coins. If I get like five or six more coins in, 5 or 6 more talismans on top of the new starting talismans, then that should be a good update for the first month. I think. I reckon so. But yeah, this has been really, really good. I think I've just run out. I think the music has just stopped. I will stream again at some point soon. Thanks for hanging out. It's been good talking to you, Edo. Yeah. Goodbye.